Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. How you guys doing? We're going to talk about installing the 6-2 multi-8 youth football defense. And today we're going into kind of part 3, which is going to be a series of part 3s. And we're starting out with the 7U team installing the 6-2 wide tackle and what day 1 will look like. This video is going to talk about what kind of the intro day 1 it's going to look like for a 7U, pretty much all rookie team, and kind of what I do in a 15 to 30 minute little session of talking and just trying to intro the defense. So before we get right into the video, please hit like, subscribe, and notify. That really helps me out with Google search and other search engines because Google for some reason likes channels that have more subscribers and people that actually hit the notify button. And of course, if you like the video at the end, please like it and share it if you get a chance. Really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. That helps support me bring more free stuff to youth football coaches. So let's get right into this. So I've been talking about we're going through 5 kind of rosters and what we do, and this one is kind of, I just made this roster up based on actual roster. This is for, let's say you're in a rec league or even a select league. It looks like Jeff thinks that's cool down there at Facebook. Sorry about that. But this is for a 7U rec team. They're a rookie team. They're inexperienced. There may be 4 players on the team, maybe, with 1 season or less. Let's say the roster's 18, which is a good size roster, with 4 minimum play players that you have to deal with. And let's say there's at least 10 plays to 12 a game. Let's say there's 6 in the first half, 6 in the second half. You can't just play them all in one quarter kind of thing. And let's say this is a rookie team coming into a 8-team rec league that's got 2 teams that have been there before. There's 2 top teams. The other, let's say, 6 teams of the league are kind of new 7U teams that are new to the league. But there were 2 top teams that got left over, say, from a 5-6-year-old kind of maybe even a flag, but a little mite kind of tackle thing where they're kind of sort of playing. So let's say that, and let's say we know that the 2 top teams have great backfields. That's who they've kept together. So let's say that. So you got 6 rookie teams, including us in the league, along with 2 really good teams that were in the Super Bowl that are coming back, and they have great backfields. So that's kind of where we're at. If that sounds like you, then stay tuned. If that doesn't sound like you, but you want to hear what I go through over kind of just initially kind of a rookie team intro to defense and the 6-2 wide tackle, then stay tuned and we can get through this. Okay, so like I said in the last video in part 2, at the end, we've got these first week install. And our first practice is kind of like a field day, and then we do an intro to offense and an intro to defense. And so this is what I'm going to talk about today, is this first practice intro. And the goal for me in this first practice kind of intro is really just to find out, do they know what defense is over offense, kind of line them up real quick so I can go into the second practice with them somehow remembering something that I really just want to see them. And I may have a handout, a very simple handout that has the position stuff on there that I'll give to their dads, or I'll send via an email so they can have and look at it. It's going to be just so basic of positions. And so my goal is to get them aligned with the position names. And if it's a really young team, you may want to have the dads come over and kind of stand behind so they can hear. I know a coach has done that in the past, and he says that works great. So they can hear kind of what's going on and explain it to their kids after practice. They have questions. So, and let's say our coaching staff is at least 4, maybe 6 guys, but right now I've got 4 guys. So this is the first day of practice intro of the 6'2" wide tackle. And so here's some kind of notes here. And I'll get into this in a minute, but basically before practice, I'll set up t-shirts or cones that have position names on there for the defense, and then I'll set up kind of an offense with rings and whatever. And what I'm saying with cones, just so you can see, so this is probably what I'll use for offense, for their offensive line and their backs, and just set up rings, because I don't want to confuse them with information other than what's on defense. So we'll probably use these with the ball for center so they know it, and we'll talk about that throughout. Now on defense, you can put placeholders. So for defense, I may use these. You see it says cornerback on there. And so one says free safety here, cornerback. So you may use these. You can use these to set up, or you can use these type of cones to set up. And they sell these actually in bigger, so you can get more information on them. I use, let's see, these t-shirts. As you can see, it says left guard. Let's see, I think this one says, well, that's an offensive one, so you get an idea. There is that's a cornerback one for C. So these t-shirts work good because they're about the same size as the guy. This is for Knob, the nose guard. You can kind of see that. And if you're wondering what I do for offense, you can see, so there's an LG for left guard, and then if you see on the sleeves, there's the hole numbers. So maybe if you've ever been wondering what my t-shirt system looks like. But these work great because you can set these up. So I set up the t-shirts out there, and I'll have that ready before practice and get that all set up where all the people, then I'll have all the positions are. And then I'll have the team come over, and they'll either set it like right behind the linebacker level, or I may have them set over on the offensive side to look. But I think the last couple of times I have them set over kind of where linebackers are in a semicircle so they can hear me talk about everybody. And then I'll go through and ask them, what they know about football. Everybody's played probably the Madden football game, so I'll ask them if they know Madden. Have they played flag? Do they know positions in football? Who's their favorite player? And try to get them interacting and talking. And then I ask them if they know what the defense must do and what the number one thing for defense is, which is not let the offense score. Because offense is going to try to score and run the ball, and as defense, we try to stop them from scoring and make tackles. And we talk about football is the most important thing. Offense has it. Defense wants to get it back. We've got to go find the football and ball carrier on defense. The offense will try to hide the ball and run away to the end zone to score. Defense has got to stop the guy that's hiding the ball, that's running away, to tackle them to the ground before they score, get a first down. We're going to review, kind of offense, defense, and talk about real quick, do they know what tackling means? And if everybody's like, what? I basically say it's a bear hug. You bear hug your friend, you're the offense guy, and you fall down. And offense is going to block. On defense, you can use your hands. We can grab and tackle the ball carrier. And basically, you want to chest bump the ball carrier, bear hug and grab claw, fall to the ground rolling, and get him on the ground so he doesn't go score. So in really simplistic terms, not really football terms, I'm using a football term and then a very simplistic term of what tackling means. So blocking is shoving, tackling is bear hugging and falling. And so that kind of gets into what they're trying to do. Offense has the ball, defense is trying to get the ball. Very simple terms on this first thing. So we go through that real quick. We're asking questions. They're raising their hands. You can kind of make a game out of it. Whoever gets right questions or whatever, the top 3 will get a sticker, or maybe you've got a prize. I give out helmet stickers. So kind of make it a game and interactive. Don't just talk and lecture. You want to get them moving and talking. And so then, you've kind of gone over, hey, this is defense, this is the football, and you could show them the football. You'll be surprised. Not everybody they may have seen it, but nobody's may have really looked at it before. So then you're going to tell them we're going to go over our base defensive positions, what the names and our alignments are, and you're just going to go through that real quick, and then I do a game of like asking a guy to go find the place where the t-shirt is and stand behind it. If you've got a younger team and they don't want to hear you lecture, just put them in the positions and have them rotate and kind of play like a, musical chair kind of thing and rotate them around. A guy moves here, what's your position? Have him look down and read what's on the t-shirt kind of thing and keep them interacting. And then you can talk about doing a Red Rover game, how you don't want anybody really, the defenders don't really want to touch anybody, so they won't touch the rings or the whatever you're going through an offense, and have a run to a point on the other side so they can kind of get an idea they've got to go across the line of scrimmage. If you've got a team that's pretty smart and they're kind of getting it, we're just doing the 6-2 wide tackle today, and you may decide I'm going to run a gap 8 or a 70 right from the start, so you can do that same thing. I'm just using the 6-2 wide tackle today because that's kind of how I set up everything going forward. If they really get it, you might, but probably not. You probably won't have time because everything else has gone long. But if you do, you could introduce the tight tackle from the wide tackle, and that would be one quickie thing maybe to do, or talk about the 6-2 wide tackle, or just bring the safety down and put them into a 6-3 or a 6-2 monster kind of thing, and talk about that. So let's talk about kind of what I do on this first day. And so here, I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to be standing over at the quarterback position here. And the other coaches are standing there to help out. And I'm going to talk about the defense and kind of intro that. Here's where the team, you can see this blue line here, and it says team. This is where they're sitting in this semicircle and they're listening. I've got a ball here so they understand this is the center. Okay, and then when I'm on offense looking across the defense and they're sitting here, and we're going to put them in a 6-2 wide tackle position because it has 6 down linemen and 2 linebackers, and that's what's called. And then I say, okay, there's a 6-2, there's 6 plus 2 is 8, so that means there's how many, if there's 11 people on a team, how many other D-backs should there be? And they go 6 plus 2 is 8, and then 3. And so I try to get them to answer that. If they can't, I say there's 3 defensive backs. And we kind of go through that. So there's 6 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 3 defensive backs. And we kind of play the game. Okay, who's there? Okay. And now they've got the t-shirts down there, and they can be looking at them. And I'm pointing. There's the 6 linemen. There's the 2 linebacker t-shirts. There's the 3 D-backs. Everybody see that? Okay, so, the guys in the deep backs are the defender backs, defensive back. The 2 in the middle are linebackers, and everybody on the line of scrimmage. And usually I'm using a football field, and I've got a line. If you don't, then get some rope or whatever to set that line off and tell them that's the line of scrimmage, and that'll help them line up. And then you've got the ball there. So now we're going to start and say, okay, so we're going to go through the key defensive linemen because that's the 6 in the 6-2. So let's talk about that. So here are the 2 D guards and defensive guards, and so I point and I'm like, they're in the A gaps, which were basically over the offensive guards. Does everybody know where the offensive guards are? And hopefully we've gone over offense before this. And if not, we just say, okay, there's the offensive guard. D guards are basically right next to the center and the offensive guards, and you're in the A gap, and here are the t-shirts, and they're lined up. And then we've got 2 defensive tackles, and because it's a wide tackle, they're wider out to the defensive ends, but they're near the offensive tackles, and I show them where that is, and and they're in the C gaps in the wide tackle. And let's talk about what are A, B, and C gaps, since I've been putting people in. And so I show them A, B, C, D, and E real quick, and because they're like, oh, A, B, C, D, and so we A, B, C, D. Okay, so then I go back and I'm like, okay, what are the defensive guard gaps? And then whoever can answer A, they get kind of a point. We track it, and then we say, okay, defensive tackles, what were they in? Because they were wider than the two guys at A. So if they're wider, so the two guys were in A, and if they're wider and they're in maybe not B, but they're in what? C. And so they say, okay, so we say our D tackles are in C, and they're kind of near the offensive tackle, which is here. And so we look at that, and then we say, okay, that's 4 of the 6 down linemen, right? Because you got 2 D tackles, 2 D guards, right? And we say, and just a little thing too, we don't want our D guards too close, so you kind of put your arms out, and we'll show that in the middle. And so the wide guys are wider than their arms, and so that makes them wide. And then still our DNs are kind of wide too, and the next 2 guys are defensive ends. So you've got D guards, D tackles, and then we got 2 defensive ends, which are on the end of the offensive line, and they're a little bit outside the offensive line's ends. And so by about 2 yards. So they're kind of wide out there. And so there's your how many guys is that? Oh, that's 6 guys. Who can name the 3 positions that are on those defenses that give us right and left? To give us 6, and we see who can do that, and we play a little game. Okay, so there's our 6 down linemen. Now we were talking about, what was the defense we were talking about? We ask, 6'2" wide tackle. Okay, so we got the wide tackles in C, but we got 6 guys, but there's a 2 in that 6'2". So what are the other 2? Where do we think those go? And then I say, look down at the ground, and where you think there's 2 guys that are kind of together that we haven't talked about before. And then they'll point, and we write, who is it? Okay, those are the linebackers, right? Those are the inside linebackers, and that's great. So, and if we've got guys in an A gap, and a guy in a C gap, and a guy kind of in a D gap, where's a big hole on the defense, do you think? We haven't said what letter. And let them say B. So yeah, they're B. And they're not on the line of scrimmage. They're about 2 to 3 yards back. And that's why there's 6 linemen in a 6'2", and there's 2 linebackers, 6'2". And we got wide tackle because our tackles are wider, so the linebackers can fit into the B. So that's how the 6'2" wide tackle is. And that's the 6'2". Now, because there's 11 players on defense, what are the other 3 players that we haven't talked about? Can anybody look at the t-shirts and tell me what's going on? And so, real quickly, we'll wait, see if they can read. They may be quiet, or you may get an extrovert and say, it's the cornerbacks and the free safety, and they're defensive backs. And so we talk about, okay, there's 2 cornerbacks, and because in youth football there's not a lot of passing, we're going to play our cornerbacks closer to the line of scrimmage. Almost to the line of scrimmage probably, and so they'll help out over there. So that's 2 of the 11, and so we've got 2 cornerbacks. And what guy have we not talked about? And then we talk about the free safety, and we talk that he is the guy that's going to save touchdowns, and we want a fast guy here as free safety, because if any running back on the offense breaks out, it's really for the free safety to go catch him, and we really like to have a fast guy here. We also might play our free safety as a blitzer rover kind of guy, where he may go up and do a blitz and try to tackle somebody, and that may be in the future, and we'll talk about that. But the free safety is a fun position to play, and there's the 11 guys. And so we talk about that. We also maybe then talk about, before I start getting players moved in, but yeah, let's do this. Let's get guys lined up. So I'll start asking questions, okay? So little Johnny, go find the right D guard. And so he'll go step up and set it right to guard. And then I'll say, okay, little Eddie, go find left defensive end. And then so I get everybody to go up, and then I'll get 11 guys up there. And then I will then trade out guys or sub guys, and so they can see and they can start moving to positions. And then I'll have them look down and read, okay, what you are. And then I'll get everybody to come off. And then I'll kind of do it again, and we get them kind of lining up, and all the coaches are helping them. You know, what gap are you in? What are you going to be near? Kind of doing that whole thing. And then we'll start talking about, okay, the football's nickname is tight, down, and inside. That is the football's nickname. Because we're going to tell you, if you hear us yelling inside or go down or get tight, you're going toward the football. So the football's full name is inside, down, tight. So if we're asking you to go tight. If we say get outside, go wider, you're going out from the football. We got to teach that. And then also if we're telling you to move up means go toward the football, and move back is back to the football. So we talk about that real quick and get that done. And so we'll talk about that. So we'll start quizzing the guys. Okay, this is where you go. This is where's a D tackle, where's a linebacker, real free safety, and we'll just rotate those positions so they get that. I won't really talk about what the position's going to do yet. I may say that, but we'll start talking about next time, if there's an inside or outside kind of gap, and if you have time, you can kind of do that. We'll talk about the defense is not really good, doesn't really want to touch the offensive guy. He only want to touch the ball carrier. And talk about how a tackle is going to bear hug the guy and bring him down kind of thing. And so you can, as you're moving guys, you can kind of give these little tidbits of information as you're getting through that. You can tell the defensive guards that they should spread their arms out and they never should touch another defender, and that'll keep their good gaps aligned properly. Because I tell you, defensive guys want to get shoulder to shoulder, and we want them kind of in the gaps. From here, if it's gone well, you can get your 11 guys out there, and then you may want to line some offensive guys up. If you've got a lot more, you could line them up kind of as an offensive line and have them stand a little bit wide. And then you can play like a Red Rover game and tell all the guys and put a ball back behind, like maybe where the fullback is, and tell everybody to run through their gap, because we don't want to touch a ring or whatever you use. We don't want to touch it. Just run through your gap, or if you've got players there, have them stand there and tell the defenders, look, we want to penetrate, so don't touch a player as you go get the football. And so you can play that game, and that helps them, and then come back to your position. And if there's guys, you can kind of set up a quick rotation. Or if it's a young team, just rotate in a circle like musical chairs, and then ask them to tell you where they're at. So this is a real basic. I just got right through it. I'm at 23 minutes, and I pretty much am done. And we'll be done with that. And that's that first practice intro on what the 6'2" wide tackle is. Now, when we break for practice, I will ask everybody 4 or 5 questions when we're breaking what defensive was before we leave practice, and do a quiz. And like I said, we may actually hand something out. A potential handout you could do is something like this, which has got what we teach on offense, how to intro offense. We intro offense in an I or a wishbone, but this is the I with t-shirts. And then this is the defense down here in a 6'2" wide tackle. So they can get an idea of what these things are and where those positions are. So you can kind of see that. And as the next day, I may actually put t-shirts down and do the defense with the t-shirts in the second practice of defensive install, so they understand there's actually players there. And then the second practice, we'll actually pick the t-shirts up and then start having people go to positions without the defensive t-shirts. And so that's kind of second, but we'll do that in another video, kind of the second video of that. But that was the first day install of a 7U rookie team that really hasn't played football before for defense, and really probably up until 9 that you've got basically a rookie team and they don't know what defense is. But I'll try to have an 8U and a 9U video too and go through some stuff there. So again, the future videos in this series on installing a youth football defense, specifically my defense, in the 6'2 wide tackle multi-8, which is over at coachparker.org for sale. And you can get a ton of videos on YouTube for free if you're looking. But we're going to review these different rosters through the age groups, what the installs are going to look like, common problems. So you can see all the future kind of stuff there going on there. I hope you like the video. Please give me a like below. If you've got any comments, questions, please ask. You can share the video to some of your other coaches that you'd like to. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notify button if you get a chance. That really helps me out. Like I said, Google really likes to have channels that have more subscribers in their search results. You doing that, it's a free thing. It really helps me grow the channel and bring more free content to the youth football community. So really appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. There's a subscribe button. Let's see, I think it's over there. You can like and share down there. Please leave comments. That also helps. There's some more videos over here somewhere. It says on the screen. That are related to this video, more defensive stuff, so check those out. But again, this is Coach Parker with coachparker.org. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you guys are staying safe in the quarantine here. Please stay safe and be healthy. Once again, this is Coach Parker with coachparker.org. Remember to play for fun, and winning is funny. Winning is funner. Thanks again. Ciao.